Hello and welcome back. So glad that I can make your acquaintance once more. I'm a little worn out. We just had a live show. We did a test run for a new site that we're going to be hosting our live show in the future. Everybody loved it. So I'm pleased, and I want to thank LT Miller once more for dropping the bird and letting the children know that this is in fact an option. Having said that, I just want to share. How do I want to start this off? I want to share a few things with the children. I think in our lives, oftentimes, and I think I may have talked about this, maybe not, I don't know, but I'll talk about it again. Because it means something to me, and I feel it on my spirit. You feel me, girl? So I'm going to serve you this hot meal, this hot plate. Oftentimes in our life, we will stay in a situation that does not serve us. It is not advantageous to us to stay where we are, but we'll stay because it's what we know. And much more, it's what society tells us is right. You understand? So in other words, you may have gone to high school and college, got the degree, you got married, you had kids, the whole nine, but you're still unhappy. But you did everything right. So why aren't you feeling fulfilled? Why do you still feel empty? Why do you still feel hollow? My feeling on this is it's because you're not living your life to its fullest potential. So let me just repeat. You're not living your life. And that's the operative word, your. You are accountable for your happiness. You're responsible for that. It's a child and it needs care, it needs attention. But what tends to happen is we put our own needs, our own aspirations to the back, to appease and acquiesce to what society says is correct. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So we put what we want to do, how we feel, to the side. Because you know what? Everybody thinks we're the cutest couple on the block. And it makes everybody happy to see us together. It makes them happy when we're happy. So you stay. And you deal with, perhaps an abusive, maybe not physically, but verbally. Because that's also abuse as well. And you deal. And you deal because it's what looks good to other people and it makes other people comfortable. A lot of times you'll find that people are uncomfortable when things are not familiar to them. And I think we're all guilty of it on some level or another. But what I try to do and what I always say is it doesn't matter what I think. Whatever you're doing in your life, if it makes you happy, whether I understand it or don't, if I'm uncomfortable, that's perfectly fine. As long as you're not hurting anybody, that's the one caveat. As long as you're not hurting anybody, let have. It's not for me. You don't need my approval to move forward. You live your life. It's your life to live. And if you're not being held by ball and chain, you have no excuse. But I think we look at life and we look at it's this thing that exists that we can't touch, we can't feel, but we all know it's there. It's this rule book, society's rule book. And we try to live, walk this line. And in our minds, we feel like we're living our life, like we're happy. We're happy because our lives, it's reflective. It's like, okay, I'm reading this chapter, I'm reading that chapter. That's where I am in my life. So I feel good about it. I feel like I'm on track. But you're off track. Because as far as I'm concerned, from my perspective, that rule book is just an outline. You don't literally have to follow it to the letter. It's a guideline. It helps you. It helps you. And that's why I think people fall off too. Sometimes they'll take, my dad and my mom also, and even me. And I'm going to tell you how my parents tell me. As I'm telling you different things, I'm giving you advice. I'm giving you my feelings on different conversations. You take what you need and you leave what you don't. But you never want to just feel that you're obligated to follow something down to the letter because everybody's different. And it's not a one size fits all. You understand what I'm saying? Here's an example. And this is going to be a short table where I just really wanted to drop this off to the children before I continue on with my day. Behind me, you can see off to your right, my left, that there's a Christmas tree still standing. Let me tell you why that is. Around Christmas time, some things came up where I needed to help a few people out financially. They needed some assistance. I helped them out. This popped up, that popped up. And so I really couldn't, I told my partner, I said, listen, Christmas this year, girl, we have to be smart. It's not, it wouldn't really be smart for us to go out and start spending a bunch of cash when we just took care of all these different financial obligations, whatever the case may be. And I said, but let's keep the tree up. He said, why? I said, because why take it down? If we didn't do Christmas this year, not the way that we wanted to. I mean, the tree is up, but we didn't have any gifts. We didn't do the exchange like we normally do. Let's just keep it up and then we'll do it another month. And first he kind of was looking like, Christmas in January, Christmas in February, what? And I said, who says that we have to do Christmas on this day? So what? Yeah, that's what society says. That's the way they tell you. Okay, that's fine. That's when you get out. Okay, that's fine. The sales. Okay, great. But you want to know what? I'm grown. And I make my rules. I make my own rules. And if I want to do Christmas in June, that's what I'll do. If I want to do it in November, girl, that's what I'll do. If I want this tree up all year round, girl, that's what I'll do, girl, because I'm grown. And I can do that. And if it makes me happy, who are you to stop me? It's not hurting you, is it? Girl, I'm paying my own bills. I'm not asking you to chip in. So then he slowly started to get on board, and he was like, okay, what if we brought it in around Valentine's Day? I said, I think that would be a great idea. I said, and we can call it Valenchrist. We'll be doing happy Valenchrist, Merry Valenchrist. But you see what we did there? We created our own tradition. We created our own way. You don't have to, if you feel like you missed it, and by missed it, I'm talking about Christmas in particular, just to make the point more clear. You only miss it in your mind because the tree doesn't evaporate after Christmas. It's all an illusion. So you can paint your own picture. You can paint your own picture. But while you're painting, make sure that you're using the colors that you love. Don't paint with my colors. Don't paint with your mom's colors, your dad's colors. Paint with your colors. And while you're painting, don't just paint with your own colors, but paint the image that you want to see. Because guess who has to hang it? You. Guess whose home it's going to be in? Guess who's going to see it every day? You. That's another thing. A lot of times, people will live their life based on what their friends think, their family, etc., society, whatever. And I always try, especially people who have access to me in terms of the phone, they see me in person, we talk regularly. I always say, I'm going to tell you what I would do. This is what I would do. You want to know why? Because at the end of the day, you have to live with it. So it's your life. I can't hammer that home enough. It is your life. You live it the way you see fit. As I stated before, the only caveat is don't hurt nobody. But you live your life. And whatever it is required for you to be happy, genuinely, and I don't mean that bullshit happiness, okay? I don't mean that bullshit happiness. And we all know what it is. And when I say bullshit happiness, what do I mean? Going out and buying a pair of shoes, that's bullshit happiness. It's something that feels good in the moment, but it doesn't last, right? It's a snack. It's an appetizer. It's not a meal. Real happiness is what allowed you to do that. Stability. Financial stability. That's a part of being, tapping into your happiness. Buying the shoes, that's temporary. But knowing that you got it, knowing that you're secure, knowing that nobody can, I don't like you no more, so now you on the street. That's happiness. You got it. You're good. You're independent. You're efficient on your own. That's genuine. That's real because that's not something that's surface. That goes deeper. Right? Spiritually, mentally, physically. When you start tapping into those things, that's when you start to open yourself up, in my opinion. In my opinion. I feel like all of the other stuff are just add-ons. They're condiments. Right? They're side dishes. But that's not the meal. When you get in your mind. When I did Pursue Acuity, that's why I named it that. Because everybody wants it. Everybody wants to see things clearly. The thing about it is, as we walk through life, we're navigating. It's like a foggy road. And what I'll say just before I wrap up is, On that road, you have your tail lights, right? Whatever, the lights in the front of your car. And you're driving and you don't really know what's in front of you. So what you do is you drive cautiously and you take your time, but you don't stop driving. You take your time. Because sometimes, depending on how much fog it is, you don't know something's right in front of you up until it's right in front of you. So you take your time, you're cautious, but you keep moving. And at some point, the fog dissipates. It dissipates. And before you know it, you're where you need to be. But it's going to be scary sometimes. It's going to feel foreign to you. It's going to make you uncomfortable. It's going to make people around you uncomfortable. Because you have to think, this somebody that I love is out there driving in these bad weather conditions, etc. Now, mind you, this is an analogy, girl. I'm not telling you to drive out in the fog, girl. Okay? But what I am saying is, the reason why people who love you and are close to you may be uncomfortable is because they love you. So don't judge them for that, but don't let it stop you either. Their concerns, whatever, don't let that be the reason why you don't do it because, oh, well, so forth and so on is concerned. Now, if they're giving you advice and it makes sense to you, then if it resonates, then it resonates. But what I'm saying is don't let a person's fears for you be the thing that holds you back. You understand? Does that make sense what I'm saying? So all I want to say is, again, in closing, live your life. This is your life. You don't have to impress nobody. You don't got to make anybody else feel comfortable with your decisions. As long as you ain't hurting nobody, you girl. You live your life and you make your own rules. And the rules that already exist, use them as a guideline, not the gospel. You don't have to do it this way or that way just because this is what the book says. You do it your way. You do it your way. Okay? Your happiness in your life should be the priority. Okay? And if you decide to put a premium on other people's feelings about what you're doing, you're always going to be disappointed. Disappointed, miserable, resentful. Because you're not living in your truth and you're not living to your fullest potential. It's so important. So anyway, I'm not here to, it touched my spirit and I wanted to just come to the boys and girls of the world and serve you that hot plate. I love you guys more than words can say. Continue to go out in the world and be great. Continue to slay the children. Snatch wigs, bobby pins, and wig caps, girl. You can't leave anything behind. Because if you leave the cap, girl, all she got to do is pop another wig on top of that. Matter of fact, I would even say snatch out those plaits. Because really, because just to really ensure that the wig is not coming back. You know what I mean? Because as far as I'm concerned, I feel like, as long as those plaits are still there, girl, I mean, she could even just rock it as a look, just with the plaits. But if you snatch off the plaits, that's ensuring that she's not going to return. Do you know what I mean? So go out there and be great. I love you guys. You already know the drill. Vias de Blangelita Galisan, the best will always come through, and we're here. Be present. And as always, until next time, baby, that's all there is.